Okay, technical difficulties here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start getting the cannula out, or the trach tube out. At that point, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that everything is functioning. I'm gonna take the inner cannula out, put it back in, make sure it clicks in and locks. I'm gonna do the same thing with the obturator, click it in, and then leave it in so that once we're ready to go, it's ready for insertion. So that goes in, that goes out. Inner cannula goes in, and it does lock in place, so we're good there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it all together and get it ready to go. And then make sure all of that remains in my sterile field for insertion. This trach tube that we're putting in isn't cuffed, so we don't need to check the cuff for leaks or anything like that. So at this point, we're ready to go. So I would tell my assistant that we're ready to pre-oxygenate the patient.
So I will go ahead and give our patient oxygen for at least 30 seconds.
And while she's doing that, I'm just gonna go ahead and spray some lube on both the suction catheter and the trach tube. And then I'm gonna get ready for suctioning once that 30 seconds is over.
Okay.
All right. And I'm gonna be going in there until I meet resistance or she coughs. And then I'm going to go ahead and go out while occluding. And I'm gonna make sure to not be in there for any more than 15 seconds per attempt, of which I'm doing 2.
We will also go ahead and put our ventilator on standby.
Well, she's on a trach collar, so she's
Oh,
fine.
yeah. Disregard that message.
So at that point, we would go ahead and oxygenate her again. And while my assistant is doing that, I'm gonna be ready to insert the new tube. So I would go ahead and grab the tube, make sure I'm ready to go once this is done, because we want to basically take the old one out and put the new one in pretty immediately afterwards.
So I'm gonna go ahead and release the straps. Get all the jerk out. And then whenever she lets me know that she's ready, I'm ready. Okay? I'm gonna gently remove the old tube, and we would have deflated.
And then she's gonna go ahead and clean the site off.
Okay.
I'm inserting the new tube and then holding it in place, taking the obturator out so that the patient can breathe while we're putting all of this stuff together. All right, inner cannula is in. She is putting the straps in around the neck flanges and tightening it up. She's making sure that it's at least tight enough for one loose finger, but not tight enough for 2 snug fingers, just to make sure that it's not too loose, that the collar falls off, and not too tight that we're suffocating the patient. Once that's done, she's gonna put the gauze right underneath. And that's just to try and help keep the site clean. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead, oxygenate her again. And then I'm getting ready for another round of suctioning. Right, and then I'm gonna go in again until I feel resistance or she coughs. And then I'm gonna go pull out, occlude. Not gonna be in any longer than 15 seconds. Gonna do a second attempt, same way. All right. And at that point we would oxygenate. All right, and then once she's done with that, we can go ahead and slip that trach collar right back over. She is good to go. We're gonna suction her mouth with the Yonker just in case she did cough up anything while we were suctioning her the previous time. And then at that point, I can go ahead and take off my sterile glove and get ready for post-vitals. So again, we're gonna listen to breath sounds to make sure that any of the roncorous sounds that I heard before have at least gotten taken care of with all the suctioning that we did.
And while she's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up all of our trash.
Get a pulse ox on her. Make sure that she's still at least 98% like she was at the beginning or better. Make sure that she's not extremely tachycardic where I need to contact a nurse or get somebody in here. And then while she's picking up our trash, we're gonna go ahead and make sure that Mrs. Smith is comfortable and that her or her family do not need anything else from us before we go and chart